So with Rambo's release in Mortal Kombat 11, I thought it would be nice to repaint this NECA Rambo figure. From the start, the likeness is pretty alright, but I want to see what I could do with it. So, one thing is, NECA at some point started using this like translucent flesh plastic, and I mean, it looks alright, I guess, but it makes details not really pop. And yeah, I think I prefer like normal paint. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just coating him in, like I'm dry brushing some Cadian flesh tone on top of him to make him look a little bit more, I don't know, solid, I guess, less sweaty. I also pretty much have to do this because I'm gonna like focus on the face, and the face is gonna be covered in Cadian flesh tone, so you can't paint transparency. No real choice here. Now without all the crappy NECA paint applications, you can see that it's actually a pretty good Stallone likeness under here. So it's time to start on the eyes, and I usually start with the eyelashes because it's the area that needs to be the thinnest, and we're just gonna clean up the overspill with white and Cadian flesh tone. You don't really need to worry about being too neat, like, try not to, like, overdo it and just slather on paint there, but yeah, any mistakes you're gonna clean up later on anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now I'm just really faintly shading, like, the bottom of the eye with some black. Like, you still have lashes there, but I don't want it to be as pronounced as the top ones. So here we go with the white. So for the eyes themselves, I don't really like going with like a pure white. I usually mix some grey in there to make the eyes not stand out as much. Like, white works for more like animated type of characters, but for real people, I would say go with like a sort of greyish white instead. So now we pretty much just block in where we want the eyes to be before we put the iris and the pupils in. So as we all know, Stallone has some pretty peculiar looking eyes. So the sculpt on this head has the eyes quite big. So I'm just trying to find a good placement for them. I think I revised the placement a bit later on, but this is decent for now. It's not too different from where I am now. So apparently I don't finish the eyes, I go straight for the eyebrows for some reason, but yeah, I'm just doing small strokes because I don't want it to look like two dead caterpillars. I want the eyebrows to be a bit, you know, uneven, I guess. So now it's time to add the iris, and Stallone has brown eyes, so we're just painting a little dot and leaving the black outline. And then finally we add the pupil. It's just a tiny, tiny black dot in the middle. So now it's time to paint the stubble, and for this we have some grey on the brush, and as you can see I've wiped most of it off on my thumb, and now we're just gonna gently dry brush over the area where his 5 o'clock shadow is. You want to be really light in this step, like you want the effect to be quite subtle and then you want to slowly build it up. Try to really blend it in there. It's fine if you get some grey on the skin area, because you can just clean it up with some Cadian flesh tone afterwards. So here's my basic recipe for lip color. You base it in Cadian flesh tone, which we have already done, and then you just put some Reichland flesh shade on top. And now I'm just lightening up the skin tone a little bit, just create some very faint highlights with some Cadian flesh tone mixed with white. And now we're gonna clean up the bandana a little bit, just with some, it's just some red mixed with some dark brown. So I thought it was finished here, but I looked at some pictures and I rewatched the old Rambo movies and I figured I would go a little bit extra. So I'm taking some Agrex Earth Shade and I'm just gonna shade his eyelids and his wrinkles under his eyes to make them stand out a bit more. Anything to really make those Stallone features pop. So I mainly want to do some light shading, but the overspill I'm just gonna clean up with Cadian flesh tone again. So now the last step, we're just going to give his eyes a little bit extra life. So we have some Ard coat here, and it's basically a gloss varnish, and we're just going to brush it over the eyes, and then the eyes are going to be glossy. I've never really liked trying to paint the eye reflection itself. I prefer to just have it naturally bounce. But anyway, that's my Rambo repaint. Hope you like it.
Live for nothing, or die for something.